This video is brought to you by AccraGhana.com, a website and project dedicated to the vibrant capital city of Ghana, Greater Accra, located on the west coast of Africa at the Gulf of Guinea.
You've seen it everywhere, right? Made in Ghana. It's a slogan that makes you feel proud, patriotic, powerful. But what if that rallying cry, that call to action, is actually a trap? What if it's a dead end for the very people trying to build the nation? Let's get into it.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll talk about the big, beautiful dream behind the slogan. Then, we're going to dive headfirst into the brutal reality that entrepreneurs are facing. We'll look at a system that seems built to make them fail, and the critical choice that we, the consumers, have. And finally, we'll ask the big question: how do we start rebuilding this dream for real?
Wow. Just let that sink in for a second. Performance art, a death sentence. This quote cuts right to the bone. It suggests all the public flag waving for local businesses is just a show, hiding a grim reality where actually being patriotic and starting a business can literally destroy you. Okay, so let's start at the beginning with that seductive promise. The Made in Ghana idea was never just about a label on a product. No, it was this massive, exciting vision for the future of the entire country.
And man, what a dream it was. Just picture it, a Ghana that doesn't need to rely on anyone else. A country with factories buzzing with activity, young innovators creating incredible things, and a local economy that's just on fire. It was all about national pride, you know? A vision of Ghana as a nation that creates, not just consumes.
But here's the thing. There's the promise, and then there's the pain. And the gap between them, it is enormous. The vision was all about jobs, pride, and independence. But the reality for the people on the ground trying to make it happen, it's just a nightmare of crippling costs, suffocating red tape, and the hypocrisy of a system that says one thing but does the complete opposite.
And that brings us right to the heart of the problem, the costly reality. For the entrepreneurs out there, trying to produce things locally isn't a dream. It's a fight for survival, every single day.
This metaphor of swimming in quicksand, it is just so perfect. It perfectly captures that feeling of being stuck. I mean, imagine trying to push forward, trying to build your business, but every single move you make just sucks you deeper into financial trouble. It's this relentless, exhausting struggle just to keep your head above water.
So what is this quicksand made of? Well, let's look at the ingredients. First, you can't even find the raw materials you need, or you have to import them at great expense. Then, the very machinery you need to build an industry, you get slammed with huge taxes just to bring it into the country. Pile on top of that an unreliable power supply, fuel prices that are all over the place, and logistics that are just pure chaos. Any one of these is a business killer. All of them together, it's basically a suicide mission.
Which, brings us to that power issue. I mean, seriously, how are you supposed to build an industrial powerhouse when you're literally doing it in the dark? This is probably the single biggest, most frustrating hidden tax that manufacturers have to pay.
The power crisis, what's known as dumb sore, is an absolute dream killer. Just imagine you're in the middle of a huge production run. Everything is humming along, and then, boom, silence. The power's out. So you got to run out, fire up a generator, and literally watch your profits go up in smoke as you burn through expensive diesel. But it's not just about the money. It's soul-crushing. It drains your willpower and makes you ask, why am I even doing this?
Okay, so the day-to-day operational costs are brutal, but believe it or not, it actually gets worse when you start looking at the system itself. This isn't just bad luck or a tough environment. We're talking about policies and financial hurdles that feel like they were actively designed to make you fail.
And this is where the whole thing becomes infuriatingly ironic. You have the government on TV telling everyone to support local, but their own policies make it cheaper to import a finished product than to import the raw materials to make it yourself. The ports effectively become these toll gates where entrepreneurial ambition just goes to die, choked by taxes and red tape.
Let's put you in the entrepreneur's shoes for a minute. Okay, first, you need to import some essential material or a machine. Next, you get buried under a mountain of paperwork. Then, you have to navigate a maze of unpredictable fees and, let's be honest, the pressure for bribes. And finally, you get drowned in taxes that seem designed not to raise money, but to actively punish you for trying to be productive.
And hey, let's say you somehow survive the ports. You're a hero. Now you need some capital to grow. Well, good luck with that. Access to financing is basically a cruel joke. With business loan interest rates soaring past 30%, the banks feel less like partners and more like legalized loan sharks.
You borrow money to build your business, and you end up just building a mountain of debt.
So you've battled the insane production costs. You've navigated a broken system. You actually have a finished product ready to sell. Congratulations. Now, get ready for the final boss, the Ghanaian consumer.
And this is a really tough one because it's a deep cultural issue. There's this persistent mindset, this colonial hangover that just won't go away. This idea that if it's from abroad, it must be better. It doesn't matter how high quality the local product is. Entrepreneurs aren't just competing on price. They're competing against a deep-seated perception that local means inferior.
This brutally honest quote just says it all, doesn't it? It's one thing to say you support local brands, but when you're standing in the aisle with your own money in your hand, that's when the real choice is made. And too often, patriotism gets left behind for a cheaper price or that fancy foreign label.
And this incredibly difficult environment leads to another tragic result: a brain drain. Ghana's most talented, most innovative, most ambitious builders are leaving. They're going to places where their skills are rewarded, not punished. And every time one of them leaves, the whole country loses.
But look, as bleak as all this sounds, the story isn't over. Amidst all this dysfunction, there is still hope. There are still people fighting to change things. And that brings us to the most important part of this whole conversation. How do we start rebuilding the dream?
You see, there are these unsung heroes out there, these entrepreneurs who are basically defying gravity. They're the ones proving that innovation can happen anywhere. Think of a fashion designer figuring out how to use recycled plastics, or a group of tech kids collaborating to build local software. They show us it's possible, but we can't expect them to fix this entire broken system all by themselves. Making Made in Ghana a real, sustainable thing is going to take a collective effort. The government has to step up, fix the energy crisis, provide tax breaks, make credit affordable. But the responsibility is also on us, the consumers. We have to put our money where our mouths are. True patriotism isn't just a slogan. It's a choice reflected in policy and in our own shopping carts.
And that's really what it all boils down to. In a system that makes it so incredibly hard to succeed, every single Made in Ghana product you see on a shelf is more than just an item for sale. It's a statement. It's a tiny act of rebellion. It is a symbol of hope built by someone who simply refused to give up.
So, we end with this question. It captures the entire struggle, doesn't it? It forces us all to think about what patriotism really means. Is it just a cheap slogan we can all shout? Or is it the shared, difficult responsibility of building a country where people can actually afford to have a dream in the first place?
This video is brought to you by AccraGhana.com, a website and project dedicated to the vibrant capital city of Ghana, Greater Accra, located on the west coast of Africa at the Gulf of Guinea.